Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Cosmic Tarot Queen. If you have stumbled across or feel drawn to this reading, then this message is for you. It's going to start out just general, and I'm going to start with an oracle deck to see any messages that come through first in terms of what you need to hear. Oh, okay, one flew out and knocked some incense over, so let's see what it is. Okay, I see the Queen and the Wise One. When I see the Queen in this deck and I see like determination and sacrifice, I feel like with the Queen, maybe right now, I feel like you're in a time period, it is Leo season, so I feel like people feel more like boastful, more prideful, even if you're not a Leo. And so I feel like right now is a time where maybe a lot has gone your way and you're feeling like a queen, literally. But along that, like maybe determination or to like kind of rise to the position you are now, maybe there was some sort of sacrifice that you had to make. Seeing the Wise One with tradition and order, I feel like with the Wise One, for you, whoever's watching, I feel like kind of seeing it in reversed. I wonder if maybe to get to this position or this point where you're like feeling like the queen, you kind of have to like, you had to like go against the grain. Maybe there was some sort of order you broke, something. I feel like with family, when I think of traditions, I think of family, maybe even like workplace culture, there's just something that broke. So I feel like you might be going against the grain, going against the odds. Let me see if any other messages are coming through with these two cards to start. Let me brush my incense crumb over. I don't think anything else is coming through. I will say, regardless of gender, seeing the Queen, I feel like maybe to get to this point, you've been leaning into like some of your more feminine tendencies or aspects. I think I'm going to leave that there, but so just starting with your reading, I feel like maybe there's a lot going on right now with your career or professional life. That's kind of coming through. It could be romantic as well, but take what resonates and take what you feel is best for you. But regardless, overall, I think that you have been very determined and courageous lately. And maybe a little cold or more logical, maybe with some choices and decisions you've been making. It hasn't been very emotional, and I only say that because of the sword symbolism. And then with the Wise One, it really makes me think like even when you look at it, you can see this hand grabbing the flower, and like it's not being like held or pulled out in a way that might be traditional or typical. So I feel like there's something maybe unconventional you're doing lately. But okay, with that, I'm going to start using tarot to see what other messages you need to hear. Let's see what comes out. What does the person watching this video need to hear right now? Okay, the cards are... okay, I want to take this one. I'm feeling drawn to this one. And then let's do maybe one more. And if I need more insight, I will, I will grab another too. Okay. And I always say take what resonates. Even as someone who really loves and practices tarot for others, I always like to remind myself at the end of the day, you always dictate your own path and destiny. Okay, cool. So let's see what these are. So I see the Two of Swords. I see the Four of Wands in reverse, the Five of Swords, and then I see the Eight of Wands. Okay, so a lot of like air energy. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the best way to like, I think let's do something like this. Don't mind me. Okay. I feel like seeing... You have a lot of... It's funny because I mentioned earlier how I wasn't getting a lot of like emotional energy. No, like, not that you don't think with your heart or you aren't emotional, but I think right now at the time of this message, there are a lot of feelings that are more logical for you. You're thinking more logically, or the advice is to think very objective or with your mind and not necessarily your heart as much. I wonder if there's some sort of choice, seeing the Two of Swords for you, that you have to make, maybe about this path you're going down. And that makes me think with the Queen, like, now is a time for you to continue staying determined, like make the sacrifices that you want to. But maybe it's a hard choice for you. Maybe there's a lot of indecision. Maybe there's a lot of, it's hard, right? Like, you know, even with this woman in the card, the traditional Rider-Waite deck has like the blindfold on for the woman. And I feel like, you know, similarly, I feel like maybe it's hard to open your eyes. But in this card uniquely, I feel like there is kind of like a dot on her forehead, which to me shows like third eye. So I feel like right now within this decision or choice that you need to make, and try to make it as balanced as you can, I feel like, you know, trust your intuition as well as you make this choice for yourself. I feel like, you know, only seeing like swords and wands, like seeing wands in your reading makes you think that focusing on where you're exerting your energy, your passion, your willpower, your like passion for like maybe life. I don't know why that came through, but I feel like that's a really strong message coming through. I think focusing on how you're exerting yourself, your aggression, your desires, that's really coming through with the wands. So, and it's funny, it goes swords, wands, swords, wands. So I feel like making sure you're balancing maybe the more like fast-paced moving like side of yourself. I am getting like fire and like air energy, so you could be an Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, or you could be an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. None of them, not one in particular is coming through super strongly, but you could have those in your placement or in your chart somewhere. But seeing the Four of Wands in reversed, I wonder if there's maybe some sort of like celebration or expectation that you are having with people in your life, or like certain, like, whenever I see the Four of Wands, I kind of see it as a party card. I see it as like social gatherings, but like I feel like seeing in reverse, maybe there's something like, you know, it makes me think back to the Wise One. Maybe like you did something that was more untraditional. You took a sacrifice, a leap of faith that kind of broke order, and so now it's kind of left some feelings in your community, your home, your relationships, whether it's like platonic, familial, professional even, because I'm not getting a strong vibe of, I was thinking this could have been workplace, but I'm really not sure. So we'll keep going and see how I feel as I read for you. But with the Four of Wands in reverse, I feel like, yeah, maybe there's just like the community you expected isn't what you expected it to be. There's no welcoming arms right now at this moment. And I also think that's affirmed by the Five of Swords. I feel like seeing the Five of Swords, maybe there was some sort of conflict around this decision or choice. And so now it's kind of like, how do you pick up the pieces, or what do you want to do about this conflict? Or, and I always feel like with the Five of Swords, it was kind of a conflict that was more intellectual, or maybe it wasn't as emotional. I mean, emotions and heart could have been involved, but I always think the Five of Swords is kind of about like there's a sore loser and then like an aggressive, like, oh my God, I was gonna cuss, but like kind of like just like, I want to say like the B word, but like bitchy winner. Oh my God, YouTube, don't flag me. But I wonder, you know, seeing two birds, I wonder if this, actually there's three. I wonder if this involves like two other people specifically. I wonder if you're the bird in white, like you're giving more light and positivity, and maybe something happened that was more like deceiving within this conflict. Doesn't mean you have to have been deceived, maybe just like, I'm just getting a vibe that, like, you know, this was an unexpected conflict or obstacle that was more mental for you, and maybe it felt like there could have been a resolution, but someone felt like winning or being right was more important than maybe coming to a certain resolution. I'm not sure if the Eight of Wands is more so advice. I'm going to pull more cards, but with the Eight of Wands, I feel like this was something very sudden, maybe very fast paced. The Eight of Wands I usually see as a very like exciting card too, and seeing like The Eight of Wands makes me think of Leo season. At the time of recording this, it is an Aries moon, so people are much more like bold and brash and just like rah, you know. So I wonder if this was just something very fast moving, unexpected for you. I think I want to pull more cards. I'm kind of curious, like what should you do about this conflict? What advice do you have around this conflict? Okay, that one's coming through. I also want to take this one. Okay, let's see. Okay, the Two of Pentacles. I'm trying to think of how to arrange this. Okay, for now, let's just do this. Sorry, it's not that aesthetic. Maybe one more. Sorry, that took me a second to decide. Let's take this one. Okay, the Page of Pentacles. Honestly, seeing all the Pentacles come out, this does make me think it's a little work-related, but I see the Lovers at the bottom as well. So maybe this is something more romantic. So for some of you, I'm getting this is either a romantic relationship or something that happened in the workplace that's romantic related. Take what resonates. I'm reading for a ton of people who are seeing this message. So, okay. And, you know, when I see the Six of Cups especially, it's a very, like, loving, kind of nostalgic card. Like, it's represented by children. You know, I see, like, this girl handing over a cup to this, like, younger boy who's holding a lamb. And lambs make me think of, like, innocence. So I wonder within this conflict if you need to not think childlike, but, like, kind of, like, forgive like you would, like, you know how like when we were younger, like, you know, in the classroom the teacher would be like, okay, you're gonna go apologize to Timmy, or you're gonna go apologize to Bridget. I'm just throwing names out there, maybe those are significant to you, but it's kind of giving, this is what the Six of Cups is kind of giving in your situation. And so I wonder if you or someone else should be like giving that cup or looking to memories or something nostalgic to like help out in this situation. Could be very specific or helpful for you at this time. I feel like seeing the Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, maybe before you offer your cup or some sort of emotional validation or offer. I feel like you need to make sure you're in balance. Seeing two twos for you, I feel like balance and choices are very significant at this time. You know, don't forget you're the queen, right? So I wonder if there's something you need to do to like balance your resources, your time, your money. Pentacles is usually associated with like career and money, but I also associate it with like your time, your mental health, because you need all those things, right, to like feel grounded. And so I feel like right now is a time where maybe you're not as balanced or you're feeling as grounded as usual, or maybe like in some sense your world's been flipped upside down. It's funny with this card, no matter what, these two animals are like kind of in similar like positions, but me seeing like this darker one on the like reverse side makes me think right now maybe it's harder to see the brighter aspects within this like situation or misbalance, but know that things always happen for a reason. And you know, the universe puts sometimes us into situations where we're thrown out of balance so that we can balance ourselves again and grow. So I feel like this was something where you were supposed to learn a lesson or cycle maybe around like balance and choices and decisions. With the Page of Pentacles, I feel like, you know, despite seeing the Queen card and you, I think, embodying this energy and like being determined, I feel like in your pentacle or your material world or anything related to like what I said earlier, your job, career, money, or your mental health, your grounding, your stability, I think there's still some steps for you to learn. And so I guess in terms of like what you need to do about this conflict is to continue growing, like be studious. Like whenever I see the Page of Pentacles, like she's a star student, and like I also feel like, you know, you can kind of see like this individual's like going on a journey, like he's like walking forward, like he's holding a pentacle, and it's kind of about how like the gift of the pentacles are being like thrown at you or coming towards you. And so it's now the time for you to like grasp this opportunity to like grow and like learn and like become this queen or king that you're meant to be. So I feel like understanding that you maybe have to be patient. Pentacles take a lot of time, you know, so, and I see a lot of fast moving energy that was happening. So recognizing that security and stability is not something that happens overnight. It's something that takes seasons. Is coming through, but I think it's now a time to like kind of, I don't know, I'm hearing like hit the books or like studying. I don't know if you're a student or maybe there's like, if you're like a working professional, like a certification you're going up for. I think now's a time to like kind of lock in. I have another oracle deck, and I think the last card I'm going to pull for you is just like energy you need to embody at this time. So what energy does the person listening to this message need to hear right now? I think I want one more. Ooh, the golden egg. Okay. Let's do one more. I think actually, so this is going to be energy you embody, and then I want to pull one more for energy that you should embody around this like conflict. Energy you should be embodying around this conflict. Ooh, the scorpion. Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely getting like fire energy. Honestly, I feel like you're a Leo. Like, you don't have to be a Leo. It could be in your big three. And the panther underneath. Okay, a lot of fire coming through. I mean, maybe I'm just saying you're a Leo because it's like Leo season. You don't have to be a Leo. But I think that could be influencing a lot of feelings right now. Even if you're not a Leo, I always like to think the seasons and the moon like affect your not personality, but your mood and your behavior in certain actions. So, okay, when I see the golden egg, I definitely think you've learned something very important within this conflict. And I mentioned that earlier with like, I think there's a cycle that you're meant to learn within this maybe situation or circumstance. And so I think like you have like kind of become this like queen type energy. Seeing these were the first two oracle cards that fell out. I really like the book's like description, so I think I'm gonna pull up the golden egg. And so it says, message at the center of the heart, the unstruck sound. Within the golden egg lives a precious sound. Deep within that sound resides a message. The sound cannot be heard, nor the message is discerned until we retreat from the noise of modern day life. The magical essence of the golden egg needs warmth, quiet, and time to unfold. No rushing, pushing, or grasping, which I think is really funny because I was like, there's some fast energy, but I think you need to slow down. So that's also confirmed here. Find a place of deep and restful ease, perhaps through yoga or meditation. If you do not have a meditation practice, okay, but anyway, just introspection. When the mind begins to settle and breathe is calm, ask the question that was heaviest on your heart. Staying open to any response you hear. Engaging with the energy of the golden egg is an advanced practice. It requires becoming intimate with our very essence and comfortable with vulnerability. When a feeling of tenderness or gratitude arises from deep within you, you know that you are well on your way. Your chest may swell like you are seeing an old friend that's been away for a long time. Listen to the message they've been waiting to tell you. And so it's associated with the heart chakra. And so it's funny because earlier I was saying like listen to your intuition. And you know, this whole reading I wasn't getting a lot of emotional things except for the Six of Cups. And so I feel like, you know, seeing what the book is kind of saying as well, I feel like, you know, eventually opening your heart up is the, I feel like, ultimate end goal within this conflict. But I think you need to balance yourself, and I think you need to take a step back from this situation, because I do get a vibe that like maybe like emotions are strong, or like maybe if you were to do something now it'd be kind of hasty or impulsive, and that's not what we want. So let's go to the Scorpion, which is represented by fire. And so honestly, before I even like pull up the book and like kind of keywords it has, I feel like the Scorpion is, you know, I feel like scorpions are kind of misunderstood. Like, I feel like the scorpion to some might be gross, but I actually think it's a really cool creature. Like, it only attacks if it needs to, you know? Like, it only attacks if it's threatened. And so when I see it in reversed, I wonder if there was a moment you kind of had to attack or go forward. And interestingly, the point of like color comes from its like poisonous point. Oh my god, I'm forgetting what it's called. I'm so sorry, but this part of the insect. But I'm curious what the book says too, so I will also pull that up for you. Passionate, competitive, tends towards isolation. And here's the book alongside it. The scorpion is a passionate and determined creature. Their career is very important to them as they are, oh my god, sorry, as few select friends. Sometimes the scorpion's heat festers and they focus on an unresolved event from the past, usually a situation where they are feeling burned. The scorpion card says it's time to come clean about your feelings so everyone can heal and you can get back to your usually fiery but fun self. Okay, I love. So when in balance, wild, free, and fierce. When out of balance, jealous, oh my god, jealous, resentful, unresolved. To bring into balance, honesty, forgiveness. That's kind of crazy actually, because that goes really well with the Five of Swords. So this idea of conflict, something unresolved, like people walking away from each other. And the Six of Cups does deal with like memories and something nostalgic. So maybe outside of like being ready to offer this cup, I can see maybe this was an older event or it deals with individuals in your life that are from your past. So I feel very strongly about that. And underneath your last card, which I feel like is maybe an underlying theme. Oh, yeah. And okay, seeing the shark peek out, like, I feel like there is something that needs to be fessed up, some sort of emotional feeling. And so, like the Scorpion card said, it's better to not keep it festered up and like let it out so then things can all be normal again. Whatever maybe is causing you stress or feelings of harm. When I see the Panther card, the Panther is also a very like fierce card. And so I feel like Panthers like just like kind of pounce. Like when they want something or they're gonna do something or they're hunting their prey, they're gonna like go for it. I'm not sure if I'm getting a vibe that maybe I'm not trying to like just based on the vibe of the reading, like maybe you're not the type to like go at conflict, or maybe it's hard to be confrontational, but seeing like two kind of more predator cards, oh my god, I can't lift the deck, sorry, but seeing the Scorpion and then the Panther for you, which are kind of more fierce cards, I feel like this is something that maybe you have to be head on about in some sense. So okay. And funny, the Panther is all about annihilation of the unnecessary, purging. The Panther won't stand to see our growth or energy stagnate. Instead, it pounces into our lives and causes all kinds of havoc, with the ultimate intention of bringing us toward more fulfilling lives. It's unexpected, uncomfortable, and sometimes feels devastating. But after all the dust clears, it's easy to see the Panther's wisdom at work. We've all been through these experiences, and they made us better people. Trust that the Panther's journey always leads to a brighter place. And it's funny, because earlier I kind of mentioned like I feel like you've learned something and it hasn't been easy and maybe you feel unbalanced right now, but it's all for a reason, and it's all to experience these things that are meant to help us grow in this lifetime. So when in balance, brave, productive; when out of balance, self-destructed. To bring in balance, get rid of the unnecessary. And so I wonder if there's something you do need a purge, get rid of. I'm not really sure what that is specifically within this conflict or situation, but I feel like going back to the Queen, your starting card, I feel like don't be afraid to make that sacrifice and go unconventional or out of order and break the rules. I mean, don't do anything illegal and they'll put you in prison, but don't be afraid to make those sacrifices and be courageous, be determined. I feel like the Queen is someone very wise too. And actually, before we close this reading, I do want to pull what the book says for you. I feel really drawn to like read to you what the Queen card represents in this deck. I know it's associated with like earth in this deck, so the earth element. So you could be like an earth sign, you could be a Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. I'm sorry, I said it out of order. Okay, but let me read what the Queen is. The throne room is an austere affair lined with tapestries and portraits of past rulers. At the far end, the throne commands attention. It represents power and sacrifices made by those who have sat on it. Occupying it now is the Queen, sitting tall and proud, ready for a day full of difficult decisions. But this is a position that they have worked hard to reach, and they will not shy away from the responsibilities that have come in the wake of their ambitions. You've left a lot of things behind in order to get where you are now, but regretting your decisions will only tarnish the glory of what you've achieved. their future. Wait, I'm so sorry. There will be more of these challenges in the future. Come to terms with the fact that achieving your goals is worth all of them. And so I think I'm just going to leave that there. Don't have any regrets. Don't be indecisive. Like, yes, maybe some aspects of community, or I'm getting a lot with relationships coming through, has been maybe tough, but I think you've worked really hard up until this point, and so now's the time to get rid of other things within this conflict that is not serving you. Well, I think that's all the messages I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this reading, you found it helpful. Please leave me a like, any comments that resonate or what stood out to you about this reading. Sending you a lot of love and light, and I'm sending you all the wishes for your manifestations. Bye.